The ranking member will do his close, and I understand he's going to yield to Senator Scott, and then I will do my close.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yes, I will yield to Senator Scott.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Secretary Yellen, for investing your time with us, and certainly a hard banking hearing for many. And I know that Senator Cortez Masto said, why should I impose my circumstances on others? Well, I think because my circumstances is so much like so many others. Millions and millions of kids being raised in poverty by single-parent households who happen to be black, telling black teenage moms that there's only one alternative for them is a depressing and challenging message. So sitting through and listening to so many folks stereotype the necessity of making a life-altering decision as if it's the option, to me, is not right. And I understand that this issue, the issue of abortion, is a difficult issue, but let's remember that the rate of abortion for teenage moms is at the lowest we've seen ever. New York Times says it's under 10%. And so what I'm talking about is the importance of understanding the reality that even during tough financial times in households like the one I was raised, there is still hope. There's hope because we've seen the consequences of good policies, and unfortunately, we've had to experience the consequences of bad policies. You're talking about the challenges in many of the minority communities around this country. We've seen in the last couple of years a 44% increase in homicides around this nation. 85% of that increase have been African Americans and Hispanics being killed. That impacts the labor force participation rate without any question. And it does so negatively. I think about the reasons why we should be hopeful and send a message of optimism and opportunity to single moms around this country challenged with too much month at the end of the money. It's the policies where Senator Cortez Masto talked about the tax reform. Well, the tax reform of 2017 cut a single mom's taxes by 70% on the federal level, led to $4,000 more dollars in the average pocket of the average household in this nation. We created 7 million jobs, 2/3 of those jobs going to African Americans, Hispanics, and women. These are facts. It's a 50-year low in unemployment. So the labor force participation rate at that time was going up, not down. And because of the increase in the labor force participation rate, you don't always expect that the unemployment rates will continue to drop, but they did. They dropped significantly. We saw the lowest unemployment rate for African Americans in this country, under 6% for the first time. Hispanics, under 5% for the first time, I believe. Asians, under 3%. We saw a 70-year low for women. In 2019, we saw the lowest rate recorded in our nation's history, is my understanding, for poverty. And so what I'm suggesting is that, yes, people on the left and people on the right can work together to bring about positive policy changes that can transform the lives of those living in poverty. It's one of the reasons why I'm thankful for Senator Warner and Senator Van Hollen and Senator Booker working in a bipartisan fashion on opportunity zones. This is an opportunity for us to weigh the impact in some of the most devastated zip codes in America, where private sector has increased wages, reduced unemployment, reduced poverty, and increased property values without gentrifying those neighborhoods. So when we're going to have a conversation about those issues that improves the economic reality of those living in poverty, when we're going to have a conversation about improving the outcome of this nation's poorest Americans, I think we should have that conversation. I am frankly willing to have the debate with anyone, anywhere, at any time on my lived experience versus anyone else's, because I believe that America is the solution, not the problem. I believe that we can work both left and right together to find those solutions and not only debate them, but try them in the public forum. And when we do so, I believe America is better, not when we demonize one side or the other side. I refuse to have a conversation about wrong on one side and right on the other side. I'm simply saying that the experience of so many of us, millions of us in poverty, I conclude is a reason to be hopeful about what's possible, even for those incredibly powerful, positive women making really hard choices.
Thanks, Senator Scott and Senator Toomey. I heard no stereotype from Senator Cortez Masto on her comments. I appreciate Secretary Yellen, Senator Cortez Masto noting that women should have the right to decide when to have children. I did hear revisionist history again about the Trump tax cut, which blew a hole in the deficit, and which clearly helped. 70% of it went to the richest 1%. I also heard talk of the lowest poverty rates. The lowest poverty rates came when we passed the child tax credit, the fully refundable child tax credit, which dropped poverty rates among children by 40%. Senator Scott voted against it twice. And about a year ago, 14 months ago, and joined by every single Republican, every Democrat passed it. When I hear, we know what this is all about. It's Senator, not make it about Senator Scott. It's Senator McConnell just wants to distract from the real issue, and that's if Roe is overturned, every American woman's going to have her freedom to make her own personal health decisions taken away and handed over to politicians. And it shouldn't be handed over to me. It shouldn't be handed over to Secretary Yellen. It shouldn't be handed over to Mitch McConnell. And like Senator Cortez Masto, I'm opposed to having the government take away women's freedom to make those own personal health care decisions.